Hello, and welcome to Bottom Line. We have an incredible show for you today, and we're going to be talking about something that can help you in all aspects of your life. And I'm really excited to talk and understand more about the High Achievement Center. And I'd like to welcome my guest for today's show, Dr. Jodi Lehman and Mr. Lindell Joe, known as Mr. Joe. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us and inviting us.
No, I'm really excited for this topic because I think it's as people continue to watch the show here, they'll find out it can help in so many different aspects of their life. And that's one of the things I think I want to talk about, that maybe it's not just business related, it can be personal related, relationship related. So maybe Dr. Lehman, we'll start with you to understand a little bit maybe more on how the High Achievement Center got started.
All right. Perfect. Well, so just so you're the High Achievement Center, really, just like every major moment in people's lives, starts really with a question. And the question that I posed myself, which was simple but very changing in my trajectory of what I was going to be doing, was, what does it really mean to live with purpose? And that question triggered me to really deep dive into my history, what I really wanted to accomplish. And I had to look at not just what I have accomplished, but what were the struggles in my life as well. And that guided me to create the High Achievement Center, understanding that there's a deep desire within me to help others get through challenges, get them to another level that they haven't been, because my background, I was teaching. I also have been a sports coach. So it really all intermingled and meshed into the great High Achievement Center. But part of this evolution started with also knowing Mr. Joe, and knowing that Mr. Joe has a very special gift. Since I've known him, and I've known him since college, he has this gift that people are attracted to him and they bring their problems to him. But the cool thing is that he always comes up with a great strategy that fits that particular person. And when they follow the strategy, they come back with success. And so that really was part of the creation of the High Achievement Center, making certain that Mr. Joe was on board as well. Because I knew with him working with me with the High Achievement Center, we would have really a spectacular coaching center for everybody. And that's how we got started.
Which is amazing, and like you said, sometimes there's certain personalities and certain people that just get people are attracted to want to talk to and feel comfortable with and to share with. I have to ask you, though, you mentioned a question. Having purpose. Before we get into all the things with high achievement and all those things, what were you feeling that you were lacking when you said to yourself, what is my purpose? Because if people are out there watching, they'll say, well, okay, I'm not sure what my purpose is.
So I knew my purpose was to really help others. And I had to really define it even a little bit more than that. And when I thought about what really is my purpose in life, because everything has a purpose. The pen that you write with has a purpose. So every human being has a purpose. And when you know what your purpose is, that's when your life really explodes. And you can really enjoy your life because you're doing really what you love to do. And so that's the benefit of understanding why you exist on this earth. And that was important because as I was going into my 50s, I'm like, what am I really going to be doing? I didn't want to just work to work. I wanted to make an impact in other people's lives. And this is why the High Achievement Center came to be.
And if we talk, Mr. Joe, maybe you can share with us your background. And just from the little bit, we started interacting with this, I can see why people would feel comfortable coming to you and talking to you and that. But maybe you can expound a little bit on your own background.
Yeah, definitely. I'm quite sure I can. Again, I want to say this. I've never heard Jodi express the things she expressed. Well, I appreciate that, Jodi. I never knew that. I appreciate it. But one of the things, Cindy, that is really key with the High Achievement Center and also my background is leadership. And when leadership is lacking, you make bad decisions. When leadership is at the forefront and you have what it's called quality leadership, and that means that that's the tough conversations. And that's what today's society lacks. A true leader, a friend. And true leadership, Cindy, is really service. It has nothing to do with power. It's the willingness for someone to want to consider your advice. And what happens is that a friend of mine pulled me to the side years ago. And this is a crazy story, but I was homeless. And he was a guy, he said, man, what are you doing tonight? I said, I'm just going to have a little party. Actually, I was going to sleep under a bridge. And one of the things that the gentleman that was under the bridge before I was there, he said something to me that really, it impacted me. And I think I carry it today because I'm still telling the story as we speak now. But it was how you interpret what someone says to you. Because throughout the day, people are constantly saying things to you. It's what do you amen? What do you accept? And the gentleman said to me, he said, listen, this is my bridge. Don't come back here again. And of course, I was, 20 years old. And that day, I met an ex-basketball coach. I was going into a store and he said to me, hey, what are you doing with your life? You have a bigger purpose to do because you owe people who helped you go through high school, because I wasn't going to finish high school. And when the gentleman told me don't come back, and I saw that coach that day, that coach took me to his home and to a school, and it allowed me to realize that, hey, everybody needs somebody. And when we created the High Achievement Center, from what Jodi indicated, is that it's impactful to be an advocate or a catalyst for someone else's purpose. And we got into looking at purpose and what does it mean? And I went to seminars and things of that nature. But more so, I learned through life. The High Achievement Center was created by being lacking in some avenue and myself admitting what I was lacking. I was lacking leadership. I was lacking purpose. I was lacking financial literacy. I was also lacking the ability to have quality relationships. And what that did, it put me on the wrong trajectory towards life. And so to simplify it, and what I came up with was that, hey, listen, let's make this simple. And so we got into credit. And that was the High Achievement Center was at the beginning of credit as well. We didn't go into coaching because we wanted to help individuals have financial literacy, which is unique credit strategies that can help individuals, because once you get your finances together, a lot of your stress is taken away. And I'm quite sure you can understand that, Cindy.
Yes.
So that's what we got into first, which was credit. And after credit, it came into coaching in 2021. But I don't want to speed up. I'm okay with going backwards. But my background is in human services. I was always one of serving someone else. But the approach that I got into from service came from sports, basketball. I was always the point guard on the team. I was always in a leadership position. So I embraced it by serving other individuals, giving them the ball, talking with encouragement. And so it became a part of my character, and it became engrossed inside of me. And that's what helped compel the High Achievement Center towards achieving higher, wanting more. And we want to be the center of that growth for all of our clients, especially in this community here.
Right. And I think, the things that you said are so impactful, and people understanding, and also what Jodi was commenting on is having a purpose, but also what leadership is. They always say good leaders surrounds themselves by people who are maybe smarter than them, that might be more talented than them. But it's supporting, it's building up someone and being there as a positive influence. It doesn't mean that you're the leader and everybody should just serve you. It's you serve others. And I think that's what's really key. And I think that's what people can really help and understand and relate to. And I would ask the question, and maybe to Jodi, what do you feel would be an audience for who might need the assistance that you and Mr. Joe have?
Well, the great thing about our services, we've worked with teenagers all the way to 90-year-old people. So it really hits the whole plethora of the population because it depends what your situation is. And our biggest client population really is in their mid 20s to about 50. When they're going through some changes, they're wanting to get to another level that they haven't been to, and they're not quite certain how to get there. And then also, when you're in your 20s and your 30s, that's really where the financial and credit literacy comes together. Like, how do you actually utilize your credit to benefit you? And what does that even mean? And then when you're also in that age group, you're moving into more leadership dynamics, potentially in your career, or you may want to change your career. And so leadership is key because some people start families around 30s and they keep moving forward. The other population that hits the above 40 to 50, 60s, they're really more looking at what is their purpose and what do they want to do with their life, because sometimes they're feeling stuck or unfulfilled, and it's really guiding them to understand where they're at and where do they want to go. And then it's our job to get them to where they want to go.
And I think what's important is, and it's something that, you both are building and helping people with, is something that they can probably, and do, I'm sure, come back multiple times, because you're in different phases of your life, and you might have a different purpose at different phases of your life, or what is in the forefront, especially like you said, if you're raising a family or something, sometimes priorities have to change for one reason or another. You have, as the High Achievement Center, there's the 4 pillars. And I know Mr. Joe just mentioned there's, mastering financial literacy, helping with somebody with, their credit. And so could you explain a little bit about that particular pillar? And if someone's thinking, gee, how could they help me financially?
Yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, that's a good point when you talk about the pillars, because one of the things that we have is a program. It's called 760 Mindset. The 760 is the FICO score, ideally, that you are sexy to the banks. And we say it like that because we want you to have a common decency with understanding. So when you talk like that, what it does, it makes you feel differently than, I don't know what my credit score is, and I don't know if I should deal with that. Because a lot of times when we deal with our older clientele, a lot of people are embarrassed. A lot of people have what it's called a preconceived notion that someone's being judgmental. At the High Achievement Center, this space is a non-judgmental zone. And what do I mean by that? This is what I mean by that, Cindy, is that when you come here, you are immediately embraced because you're seeking knowledge. And remember, whatever you're seeking is seeking you. And so what we specialize in KISS. That's keep it super simple. So therefore, you can have courage, confidence, and creativity that will allow you to be able to understand the material. Because just like Jodi indicated, you can be in your early 20s, you can be in I have clients that's 93 years old, and you want your credit to age with you. So you have to understand, beyond the FICO score, what is the mindset? Mindset means what? The setting of the mind. So when you meet us, we introduce you to your greater you. And that means your credit score has to age with you. Your credit report profile is your financial resume. Okay. Why? So you can borrow things. It's important. If you didn't get an inheritance, that means you have to borrow from yourself. How do you do that? How do you get your credit report? What are the credit report bureaus? And in that 760 Mindset program that goes for 4 months, it is phenomenal. You meet with us 3 to 4 times. We break your credit down. We explain your credit to you. We also help you design your credit. We can help you repair your credit. We are credit, but more so, you understanding that in a simplicity format gives you confidence. It gives you creativity to be able to become a homeowner. You got to deal with your credit. If you want to rent, got to deal with your credit. If you want to get a car, you got to deal with your credit. So we look at financial literacy as one of the 4 pillars that we deal with, and we deal with it aggressively. Why? Because the majority of your stress comes from when you don't know what to do. So if you're managing your credit and you're on the right path, other things in your life click in. And you're correct, Cindy. Normally our clients stay with us once they have an interaction with us for over 60 days. We have clients for the beginning of 2017 all the way to today. And they keep repeating, utilizing our program because it's effective, it's competent, and it's KISS. Keep it super simple. That's what we do with that program, is the High Achievement Center 760 Mindset Program.
That's amazing. One, I've never thought of 760 mindset as a sexy way for credit scores. And what I will tell you automatically when you say that, my thought was, wow, I'm looking at it way different now. And, oh my goodness.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. You do, hey Cindy, you do have a different walk when you go in the bank.
Yeah, I tell you right now, that's it, man. My whole day is going to be different after going on. I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, great question. Yes. Yeah.
So, some of the other, there's, like you all both mentioned, there's the 4 pillars. There's the other one is the leadership in development. Now, leadership and development, I find it interesting because you're talking about not just professional, but personal. So can you maybe expound a little bit on not just professional help that you're giving, but also maybe personal help on leadership?
Yes, that's an excellent point because, at the forefront, I'm just getting back from a seminar that talked about how important leaders are now in corporations as they scale down. Because a lot of people that are working with the big 3, unfortunately, they're scaling down quicker than we thought. And what companies are looking for is leadership. Now, here's the key to leadership. To be a leader, you have to understand what leadership entails. Your first role model, this is what we teach at the High Achievement Center. Your first role model was your mom and dad. They were your leaders. They were your coaches as well, because they telling you what to do. And so the reason we talk like that is because we simplify things. Leadership is service. That's first and foremost. But what are the development stages of leadership? Let's keep it KISS. Keep it super simple. Here's the deal. True leadership and development from the high achievement standpoint goes like this. What are the number 1 qualities that you carry in your leadership approach? It's just like eating breakfast. People say, well, I don't have a certain eating regimen. I don't have a diet. Well, you do. You might not be aware of it, but when you eat, the first thing you eat in the morning, that's part of your diet. And that's the same thing with leadership. In a relationship, you're a leader. With yourself, you're a leader. So the key elements to leadership is understanding what do you value that gives you the philosophy of your leadership qualities. Example, myself, I'm big on integrity. If I tell you something, you can count on it. And all my clients know that. If I say I'm gonna call you at 6, 5:59, I'm calling. That's leadership. That's integrity. That's big for me. I value that. And in the High Achievement Center program, we focus on that. The program is called the Black Lion. It's a strong emphasis. Cindy, you ever seen a black lion?
No.
I've
seen a lion, but yeah.
That's because you have to create it. It's in your mind. And those qualities that we talk about adds to what it is that leadership is the foundation of. Integrity, honesty, time management is leadership as well. What do I mean? You have to lead yourself first. So most leaders are developed, but they don't have an awareness of it. And that's why we created a program. We have an online course with that you can purchase. What it does, it focuses on why leadership is so important, because you're doing it conscious or not conscious. And our program gives you the foundation for you to have integrity, gives you the foundation for you to understand your philosophy and your approach. And how do you treat people? How are you empathetic? So our program, which is called the Black Lion, it's a program that goes for 90 days. It's very intense, but it gets you to the core of who you are as a leader. And remember, In every follower, there's a leader.
Right. And would you say when they're going through that course and at the end of the course, is there kind of a common theme or something that you see in your clients that they didn't realize when they started it? The kind of aha moment type.
Yes. Yes, Cindy, that's a great point. We see that actually on, I would say mostly on day 36. And the reason I say day 36, we've been tracking this with the analytics, because what happens is that to get to leadership, you have to go deep inside, and it has to be a deep conviction. And the best way to do that is we have a program, it's called Real Life Conversations. I ask you questions like this. Who are you? What is your purpose? What are you capable of doing? What are your gifts? And when you start to ask those questions, you have to go back into your younger days. Some people have trauma going back into their younger days. Some people are mad at their dad and their mom. So therefore, their understanding can be confused. But when you have real life conversations and you keep it simple, it's easy to identify your style. It's easy for you to get comfortable. And then you have that moment that you talked about, Cindy. Aha, I am a no nonsense approach high achiever because I plan everything. And I didn't even know I took notes that well. That's what comes from that conversation, because we evaluate at the High Achievement Center. We do two things, Cindy, in all our programs. We challenge and change mindsets on the way you view your world once you have a comfortable conversation in an environment that allows you to be free because it's non-judgmental. You have major breakthroughs. People laugh, people cry, people smile, people frown. But guess what? When you walk out the High Achievement Center, here's what you learn, and you can read our reviews. You feel comfortable about yourself because guess what? You're doing the tough work. You're going in depth, and that is key to success.
And I think, what you're saying there is anyone who walks to the door, anyone who picks up the phone, anyone who, does the online courses, they're trying to make an improvement. They're trying to find their purpose. They're trying to find their vision. They might just need a little extra assistance. There is a program that I'm interested to know more about because it's called the Inner Tiger program. So I'm curious. I want to know about my inner tiger. It's in there, I guess. So can you speak a little bit on what the inner tiger is? Because I got a lion now, and now I want a tiger, and I got sexy credit score. I can't wait.
There's a theme going on here.
There's a theme.
So the Inner Tiger program is all about discovering your purpose and vision. And the reason why we picked that name specifically is because when you think of a tiger, they're, for the most part, solitary animals. And what happens with that is that is the purpose of it. When you're looking at your purpose, you have to look at it for yourself. Why are you here? And then once we walk you through that process and we have some sessions with it, then it goes into, okay, now that you know that, what is your vision? And let's start creating your vision on where you want to go. And it's not just 2 months down the road. It's going to actually take you out to 3, 4, 10 years down the road. And the benefit of that is that it gives you a roadmap, because when you are clear, then you're able to really move forward and faster. And all of our programs really intermingle with each other. That's why we have the 4 pillars, which means self-mastery, because they all align. And when your purpose is not in alignment with your leadership, then you're going to hit a roadblock or you're going to feel stuck. And that's the purpose of having a coach, because we get to see outside of you. So we're looking at it because we're not in it with you. And this is why we're able to guide people into a different direction and give them different tools and concepts that help them decide on where they want to go. So the Inner Tiger program is all about understanding your purpose and creating your vision and your goals, because without goals, you're really not going to get to where you think you're going to go. And that's what we do at the High Achievement Center.
And, Jodi, you mentioned too, one of the things, another one of the 4 pillars is strengthening relationships. So what do you find when clients come in regards to trying to strengthen a relationship?
Mr. Joe, you're good at this one.
Well,
okay.
He's fantastic.
Wait now.
Well, he is.
But Cindy, let me say this to you first and foremost. When we talk about relationships, I'm just going to give you a quick story. I already talked to the client. I'm just not going to utilize their name. And they say, Mr. Joe, please, I already wrote a review. Please share it with Cindy. I said, well, thank you. And you called her name correctly, Cindy. Here's the deal. We deal with toxic relationships. I want to get right to it. That is so big and huge right now. People are in relationships. If your relationship is average, it's toxic. Mr. Joe, what are you saying to me? What I'm saying to you is this. If you're in an average relationship, then what's happening in our society today since the pandemic is this. A lot of people are not communicating how they truly feel. So if you're in a relationship and it is you're not communicating and you're frowning and you're in the driveway and you do this, you need to come to the High Achievement Center. What we do is we evaluate your relationship, but we give you a principle base for you to have some gratitude for the other person as well. What we focus on in strengthening relationships is first and foremost, here's the number, Cindy. 85% of your happiness comes from your relationships. Next, that 15%, what's your relationship with yourself? How do you talk to yourself? Most of my clients, and I'm going to say this, Cindy, are not in love with themselves to a degree where they're kind to themselves. They're so tough on themselves. They work a lot of my clients work 70 hours. A lot of my clients are in relationships where they just forgot to work the relationship. So it turns toxic. What does a toxic relationship looks like? Well, first of all, I've done videos on it. And secondly, I've done this. I have evaluated the relationships from a couple. We have a program, it's called Marriage and Strategies. What does love have to do with it? So we focus on title stripping your spouse. What do I mean? The person that you are in love with, that you are dating, that you're married to, take their title away and let's look at just the actions on how you treat that person. Do your actions say you love this person? Do your actions say you kind of mean to this person? So what do we do to fix it? Well, first and foremost, we know this. Words matter. Words are powerful. So you got to look at how you're talking to yourself and you got to look at how you're talking to someone else. The majority of our conversations in our sessions, when I listen to couples and I listen to individuals that's just starting a relationship, they are not comfortable saying what they truly believe. Mr. Joe, what do you mean? If I tell you good morning, why can't I say good morning? I love you today. I have to believe that to be able to say that by me being authentic. Why is that important, Mr. Joe? Because words matter. What you say out your mouth will produce your future. And what we have a history of doing at the High Achievement Center is if, maybe, I hope, I'm going to try, maybe, we don't talk like that here. We talk yes, no. We talk absolutely, definitely, phenomenal, excellent. And you incorporate that into your word salad of your day, it changes your mind. Once it changes your mind, it changes your vision. Once it changes your vision about your spouse, you can now strengthen the relationship because you're comfortable speaking positive. That's just a little sample of how we do it in our programs in regards to relationships, because you have to strengthen your relationship. But once you understand your purpose, your relationships get stronger when your financial credit is better, when you also understand your leadership philosophy. And as you said before, Cindy, and I appreciate that you must work at the High Achievement Center because you said it's all congruent, and it is. And that's what the 4 pillars consist of.
Well, I have to say thank you both so very much for all the information and you know, Jodi, for creating the High Achievement Center. And I can definitely see why you wanted Mr. Joe to be a part of that. It's very evident. But I think, you know, the biggest message that I think I'm hoping the audience who saw this today is that there's so many things that, you know, the High Achievement can help from younger age to older age, different parts of your life. It's all encompassing between the mindset program, the inner tiger, you know, the black lion, all the 4 pillars. It looks at every aspect of the person. And I think that's what's really helpful. It's kind of almost like a 360 with different parts of the life to make sure, you know, and I think the other thing is, like you were saying, to try to be kind to ourselves, because I do think sometimes we're really, really hard on ourselves. But I want to thank you again for both being on the show. I want to thank our audience for watching, and I hope you found this extremely beneficial and hopeful and helpful for you. And you know where to find them at the High Achievement Center. Thanks for watching. I'm Cindy Kainz.